everybody, I'm Tina. This is To the Inner Wild. Another day of getting ready with me for a live. Anyway, only those of light and love are welcome here. Angels of light and love. Thus I call upon you to, with a formal invitation. You are most welcome here. Primary guest, front row, or wherever you want to seat yourself or fly, whatever. All right, nearly there. What do we want to say today? Oh, did you see my stubble? It's okay. We're all human here. Okay, I'm going to do some pale lip color now. How's my light workers doing? Some of you might not really be aware of what a light worker is, or faintly are, but really not, just kind of new to the frame of mind. Light working isn't really an over amplified thing. It's just kind of just a way of life, at any hour of the day. Any minute of the day, any second of the day. Goodness gracious. So, you might want to do some searching on that, but, it's basically all that it really is, if you want to break it down, is working from your heart chakra. Whatever it is you do. You work at an animal shelter, you work at a homeless shelter, you make paper towels, you work at an envelope factory, whatever the case may be, you bring light and love into your situations. That's what we do, because it can be done, and why not? So, what are we going to do right now? We're going to do an energy read. Welcome, my light workers, to your official Wednesday. Wednesday energies anyway. So even if it's a Saturday and it feels like a hump day, like, goodness gracious, may the Lord be with you. And so it is. I'm what am I doing? I am going to use the Fountain Tarot. I mean, it was like a catcher's mitt the way it felt. It just landed right in there. Gosh. It was like you just stopped the home run from happening on the other side. The kind that celebrated, the ones that celebrated a little early. That's my work situation today. Like, I'm telling people bits and pieces here of when my resignation date. And I know, like, the ones that are, sincere, are, like, sincere. I started off with those. Then I trickled off to those that were just, like, how do I say it? They want to play nice because they saw karma didn't just bite them in the ass. They took a piece of it with them. And then there are others that are like, oh, such a shame. Thank you for your contributions. Everybody knows. Like, hi, how you doing? Everybody's watching. You're doing great. And behind closed doors, it's something else, right? Anyway, angels of love and light, we're here in the here and now. What is it that we want to talk about? Let's do another quick, energy reading, okay? I'm really loving these new gifts. When I say that they're kind of new, I'm saying that they're more consistently, pronounced. So even though I saw, signs of it, a channeling through. It was like sporadic, or even the ringing in the ears, all of that. The gifts, I just consider them new because not only are they more pronounced, like from, let's say, a year or two ago, but not only are they pronounced, but they overlap and they interchange, information. It's like being multilingual and seeing the parallels between the languages. So there's like hidden messages too. Freaking awesome. The angels have done it again. You know how many wishes I made? Like, I made some heavy vows to the divine. Like, I made some heavy ones. Like, I put in a tall order times like 60. Like, everything. Let's just have everything. I want a flavor of everything, please. And so I was disappointed initially when, I was doing the work and I put in the request and I'm like, it's still not coming yet. And then, slowly, like when you don't put the pressure on the divine, when you're not like tapping your fingers on the desk, when you're not being a total a-hole about, about, receiving a delivery, it just happens because you're focused on the work that needs to be done. And, you're not acting like within, I don't know if entitlement was the thing, for me, but I know that is for a lot of people. But for me, it was just like, am I not doing things right? Or am I just, I don't know. There was a lot of uncertainty, and I think there were just a lot of lessons that needed to be learned and cleared before I could really maneuver, focus. Like, have a clear mind in tapping into these channels. And so I think that's mainly what it is. So if you are, if you're feeling the pressure, yet also the desire to be in alignment, don't fret. It's gonna be okay. Like, we are where we are for a certain reason. And that's why I'm not too stressed about like funds or anything like that, because I know that I have other routes. They're not like, business is not expressed as like booming or anything, but like everything really is an illusion down here. I mean, when it comes to, let's say, YouTube or whatever, social media, people pay for their views. Like, you don't have to be a celebrity or even like a B-list or C-list celebrity in order to fund views. So it's not necessarily like on a peer level, let's say not business level, but peer level, like on the audience, within the audience, it's like, oh, it's a validation, like, oh, why did that get so many likes? Why, that must be like the bomb, and that's a poor interpretation, because the audience is looking at face value like, oh, that must be, like, I'll cast on this vote, I'll select that one. And then there's a certain threshold of how many they'll click on before they actually, decide, oh, that's the one for me. But there's a psychological factor within their buy-in on the initial click. So, like half of the weight, I would say, in today's like culture, regardless of wherever you are on the globe, adheres to like the vote, the buy-in of who has the most votes, like who's the most popular, like who's the most seen. And it's like, that divine is like, wrong. You gotta turn back. You gotta think for yourself. And, that's partially the reason why, like, I hide, the like buttons on my YouTube channel. Like, I even, like, kind of just, like, promised myself that even when I go big, I'm not going to reveal that, because I don't want to endorse that kind of, that behavior. It's so sickening. Like, can you imagine what our children's gonna be like with that kind of behavior? That's fucked up. You see it today, how it is? It's gonna be like even shittier down the road. So you gotta like nip it in the bud. with as much power as you have, like my average head count is under 10. So it is okay. Like I'm disciplining myself for that matter. And then, oh yeah. So when you're talking on a business level, it's like, it's not about really like, they could give a shit about like, how the audience sees like, oh, what's popular and this and that. It's more about getting the buy-in, getting the payout, being at the top of the list. I mean, like, notability is, wonderful, but to like be a headliner, to be at the top of the list, people even working, businesses working on a functional level, like startups, they just want to get their foot in the door. So they buy into like the paid per views, paid per clicks or whatever, the views, so that it just like gets their foot in the door. And so like, I've seen that, and like on some certain level, like I wouldn't do that for myself. Like I don't know. I just don't believe in that for myself. But if I was gifted, let's say, the sponsorship of that availability, then I would go for it. It's like a very expensive handbag or a very expensive ring or necklace or whatever. I wouldn't, like, even if I had like X amount of income, I still wouldn't like engage in investing something like that for myself. If it were a gift, I would be okay. I would be good with receiving it, so long as like the context is like cool and not like proposed like, shady. So, it all depends within context. Like, I've been married for, well, I've been with the same person for, let's say, 20 years, okay? That's an approximation, which is very, very close. And, I never really, like, there was nothing, like, anniversary, like, there's nothing, no. And I realized, holy shit, somebody else, like, number one, let's boil it down to the basics, okay? Let's just X out the gossip. Let's X out the history and just say, like, when it comes to somebody else, when you isolate it to the singular position, like, fuck, I let people take advantage of me and I didn't even realize my worth. That's what it boils down to. That's what the angels have been like. Spirit's like, like just looking at the clock, just tapping sometimes, like, is it working? It's like, Spirit put a watch on me, right? It's one of those Kinetic watches, and it's like, it's synchronous with their watch, right? And it's like, if you stay stagnant and complacent for X amount of time, yes, this is a download, thank you very much. But like, if you stay stagnant, the shit is not gonna move. So it's like, it's gonna mimic you. It's like a Heyoka gag gift. It's funny. It's hilarious. I love it. So it's like, Spirit's like, like, gotta move, And the ancestors are also, assigned, or like they kind of volunteer, like, hey, get your ass moving, get up, do, something. And that's why there are all kinds of methods, like if you're going through depression or something of that sort, where you feel really immobile, or you're just incapacitated from illness or old age or whatever. There are simple gestures that you can do to, remind yourself, like tap on your body, put on lotion, self-care, that, the sensations of reminding yourself that you're whole, that you're here, that you're actually nurturing yourself, like the human, like the touch, is a very magical thing. A mother to, offspring contact, and when you do that for yourself, it's like you're mothering. Oh, so sweet. It's like you are mothering your inner child. Doesn't matter if you're male or female or they, or however you identify, you are nurturing your inner child. It's self-soothing. And you gotta do that. Like, at any time you feel shitty, even before that. So, like, if you're just feeling bored or whatever, just get moving. Just move whatever you can, okay? Sometimes, like, I remember feeling, like, really shitty way back when I first started my journey. I remember, like, braiding my hair, like, just little braids here and there. Felt very, like, it was soothing to me. And it felt, like, very ancestral. And I used to knit, like, long ago. So it had that methodical approach of, like, laying one over the other, just kind of like, it's like tying loose ends, you know, that mentality. And just kind of like beautifying, like changing up your look, changing up, the patterns. And like those incremental, changes, just do not underestimate them. Do not. Even if it's simple as like, hey, this may sound a little stupid, but it's not, okay? When it comes to, let's say you have like a very busy work day. Like, okay, I'll say something positive about my ex, okay? For his work, very busy. When it was just singular in the office pre-COVID, he would bring in tea and, like, you know, have a separate drawer for, you know, like for his tea. So he could just like find some calm within the day. And I think partially it was like a cool niche thing, you know, for him to do. But, and when I'm sharing this is not to say that I have feelings attached to it. I'm just commending good behavior, or like, you know, good, habits to create. Because even though, we can tend to do really shitty things, it doesn't like wipe out, certain concepts that are, you know, healthy to carry on. Now, a lot of things have changed since then, but you know what? I'm not going to explain myself any further. I just heard somebody like saying something about that. So I'm going to move on. Yes, angels. Okay. So there would be like 2 water bottles, one to fill up with ice and one to fill up, you know, do the tea thing. And so like, it's just, it's like the act of temperance, recalibrating. And it's just like filling the ice cup, like being able to like stand up, like separate yourself from the situation of like havoc and craziness, that no one else is saying like is crazy. But you know, everybody knows it. And just kind of like moving, you know, separating yourself for that, you know, little act of kindness where, you deserve like a refresher, basically. And then like visualizing that and manifesting that into play where you're actually like getting a refresher, is healthy. It's healthy, you know? So, things like that. For me, I'm starting to stretch a little bit more in the morning. not as good as I was before. But, you know, with the ex gone, you know, like staying at the friend's house because of COVID, like, I get to do things here. I'm getting to clean up. It feels so good to clean up. It does. And I'm not like trying to perfect everything. It's just like phases, you know, phases of, slates, you know, just going through it. And it's so good. Halloween is coming up. We don't have our decorations out for like the first time this year. I mean, you know, in the past year for the first time. And so I changed out the towel. Like it's as simple as doing the freaking like washing the towels. You know, I refuse to be a maid, but at the same time, I'm still a mother to my kids. You know, like it doesn't matter if somebody else clocks out, how often they clock out. You know, it's a shame. So, you know, I made the effort that I could make without buying anything extra, and I got the holiday towels out. And to have that in the kitchen is like, you know, it's a high traffic area, so you always see it, and there's, you know, always something. I could get little pumpkins here and there, so I think I might just do that, just to have a little reminder, or like, gotta do something. So anyway, there's that. Angels of Love and Light. So maybe we're just doing a little talking session, like just some, Three of Swords in reverse facing the Eight of Swords. Very interesting. So this is, oh my gosh, did I just spray? Sorry. Okay, so it's, releasing the heartbreak. And you know when you're over something and you've healed over something, when you can talk about it without like the emphatic feelings of negativity, where you can look at it straight in the eye and say, like, there were some really bad things about it, and there were some like good things as well in the package, that were obviously good, and then there's karmically good, where it taught you a shitload of lessons. We're talking like Great Dane shit lessons, where you shovel it, you know. So when you can like laugh about it, and you just like, you're no longer crying about it. And if there were any any tears shed, it's there's purpose. There's more. How do I say it? Like, you can hold your dignity, and like, there are different kinds of tears. It's not despair anymore. That's what it is. So, facing the Eight of Swords, it's almost like, okay. So we dropped the Three of Swords. Now all we have holding us up, possibly, is our ego. So we're drawing 3 from the 8. So when we're looking at our ego, is that right? I mean, that's what I'm getting. So, the thing is that there's many thoughts involved in here, okay? Mainly just like isolated, just us, when it comes to internalizing this atmosphere of grief, whatever that means to you, however that applies. So, we can look at 3 minusing or plussing from the 8, you know. So, we either have 5 of Swords, which is like the one up, like, egoic card, where it's just like, everybody knows what a 1-up is. It's not a +1, but it's a 1-up. And it could be 11 of Swords, so that's the Ace of Swords. So gaining wisdom from whatever like held us up when we knew that we could do better, and that we could have moved forward. We could have moved forward. That our stopping point was truly just like us, and the perception that we were just trapped. So it's gaining this in totality. It's gaining the wisdom. So there's like the polarity of the 5 of Swords or the Ace of Swords. It depends on like how you go with this, like your thought processes, and acknowledging that everything had a place, including like growing out of certain constructs, and developing, tearing down some, and then, just, developing our, our, point of view, or our perceptions through peace of mind. Yeah. Okay. So that's where we are. Swords energy. Anything else? Okay, these two. Oh, it's the High Priestess and the Hermit. Yeah, very solitary. And receptivity, like our perception and our perspective. So this is an elevated view of our, I think, perception, how we receive and interpret things, and our perspective, the elevation point. Because Our perspective is our point of view, and that's all relative to how we're able to digest material. This is the digesting. This is, you know, the emanation of that. So, again, we got perception and perspective, or point of view, the elevated part. You cannot really have this without achieving this. So, very cool. Very cool. There's no swords or weaponry listed here. This is seeing yourself as also a weapon. I don't know if it's how do I say it? Like how you could be your own worst enemy, but also a resource that shows the divine that, you know, you're a badass. Or like, how do I say it? You're like a badass resource of the divine. Yeah. So it's the polarity of seeing both sides of that. The choice. I just noticed that there's a full moon right behind her. I pulled this card so many times, and I think that's the first time I've seen a moon behind her, and how it's illuminated, you know? It's illuminating that way. So most definitely, you cannot gain this without going through this several times. It's the dark night of the soul. And even going through the thick of it, like the mystery. There's also like the beyond the veil. This is the thick of it, and it's like shining through. That's crazy. That when you're going through this, like in on the 3D plane, on like the astral realm, the higher dimensions beyond the veil, there's so much clarity. It's like when you're when you're doing that search, the divine sees it as like a spotlight, like Batman, you know, where it's you're reaching out. It's like reach out, touch faith. Your own personal Jesus. Something to hear your prayers. Okay. Yeah. That's what's happening. That's very interesting. So, you know, let's say, I mean, this is a continuous process, okay? We know that this is a studious person, or a studious soul. So, there's a lot of self-discovery in there in order to have more of an open-mindedness, an open heart to learn further, to continue the learning process, higher learning. What were we going to say about that? Oh, so it's like this is your future self, or how do I say it? Because this to me, I feel current in this, but this is you know how we were saying, like, it's a light like that, how it shows beyond the veil. So it's like higher self, like knowing that this is a constant elevation point. So when we're engaging in this, we're always like seeing like the potential of the high priestess within us, the more elevated, you know. It's like the high priestess that goes from like this certification to this certification to this certification because she's already gotten the degrees. So, yeah. Okay. Anything else, angels? King of Swords in reverse. So, there are manipulators out there. You know, once you engage in this process, you see that she has resting bitch face. She has that right there. Hey there. So there's these liars, you know, just extreme manipulators. As of late, for the past few days, at the very least, I've been getting these as people who do mind control and have a lot of pull, like marionettes, to, yeah, they're pulling the strings like a marionette to like many. They abuse their power when it's in reverse. Did a somersault. Okay, so it hit it on the edge. It's the Emperor. It's Temperance in reverse. Page of Swords. The Hierophant in reverse, and Ten of Wands. So, Spirit sees this, like, automatically, like, tapped it on the head, like, and showing them that they need to recalibrate. Like, seriously think about this. Like, really engage in alchemy. How do I say it? Filling up their own cup, because in all actuality, all they really are is a page at heart, page at soul. This is a page at mind. This is someone who's very juvenile within their learnings and their role of responsibilities. Yeah. So they need to create, rules for themselves. Like, they could be using all of that energy to elevate themselves. But what do? It's a huge burden, not just for themselves, but for the universe. And they know it. It's hard to keep up with their lies. It's hard to keep up with their bullshit. It's hard to keep up with the networking of additional bullshitters. Some that are bigger bullshitters than you. So, Spirit's like, like, I'm getting the picture of, like, Spirit, like, knocking them on the head, because it hit it right there, just like flat out. And some of them may have had accidents or something, like physical representations of awakenings, where Spirit's like, that can only come from Spirit. Some people may think it's like witchery or some kind of like bad juju, but that's something that's like, that's a projection, and that's denial. So that's what Spirit is saying. Within this like 5-card slot, again, it points to the 5 of Swords here, what we initially started with, like, 3 taking away from the 5. So yeah. Dude, I thought I created boundaries, Spirit, like, angels. Do we just, like, all the bullshit energy is not welcome here? Do we not say that? Okay, I'm gonna say it now then. Okay, maybe I forgot to say it, or didn't say it in the right way, but I don't want them here. They're not welcome here. I don't know, sometimes I'm supposed to read for, like, dark energy. Or people, like, dark energy isn't, like, stagnant within their own. It's actually volatile. Dark energy is volatile. At heart. At soul. They're living in unrest. That is their hell. That is their personal hell. That is their personal Jesus. That is what they choose to believe in. So, when we're looking at this, there is some salvaging grace in that, in the constancy in moving, but needing, like, temperance, definitely. Taking a moment to, like, recalibrate. So there's something that is there's an ability there to engage within their healing. Okay, these are those that are like kind of on the verge of self-discovery, number 1, of moving out of self-denial. There's some people that have been in that kind of power for such a long time. It just gets so old. There's nothing new. Same formula, different day, clock in, clock out, answer calls in the middle of the night, torture, inflict torture, or be tortured, inflict torture, it's just, on whatever level. It gets so old. But then when they encounter our energy, very different. Most desirable, I'd say. Because it's like, when you see someone that's happy and that is well supported by the divine, that there's magic that you can't even put your fucking finger on. It's, like, don't you want that? Don't you want to have, like, direct access to that, where it's like, you don't have to worry. You know, and to have that, like, legit, that's the most rewarding thing. To know that you hold so much power that could be used within that direction. The Spirit is saying, why would Spirit personally deliver a message to you? Knock you in your head to wake you up. I got that. I work for the divine. Showed me that I was in a place that I shouldn't be in. Like, do you think that they you talk about favoritism, like, for real? Like, no. It doesn't quite work that way. Okay, 5 of Cups muted. You know, people will make their decisions on their own timing, whether it's in this life or the next. And, you know, the 5 of Cups, it's like having to mourn and say goodbye to, like, old good times, but having the ability to move on. It's like leading a horse to water. You can't make them drink it. So it's like, don't cry over the spilt milk or the possibilities of this and that. You led them. Now it's time to move on. That's it. Like, don't stress about it. That's what that is. Like, okay, you can exit now. Because So, this is about finding closure with those that can be helped versus do they want to be helped, versus do you want to help yourself. These are the battling energies here that are kind of like laid on top of like one another, and it's like, I'm just gonna help myself at this point. Like, this is like this is stuff that's happening like simultaneously. The way like Spirit like hit that though, like that edge of that card, with the head like being right there, something definitely happened. So is karmic, physical, tangible, and it was a wake-up call for sure. So we did our part in showing them the way, showing them the water, the body of water to take from, or to like alchemize, like using that star energy of alchemy. But Spirit's like realizing that they're not waking up. Like, so Spirit's like kind of trying to snap them out of it so that they have no excuse. Like, you are fully aware of what's right in front of you. You're fully aware of who led you there. I'm going to let that person go on her merry way, or their merry way. And you're going to be in solitude, and you're going to figure this shit out. Okay. Anything else, angels? Oh, I have to water my plants. Okay. Before I move to anything else, before I move on to bananagrams. Okay, I'm told to pick one. Okay. The moon in reverse. It's the new moon. The new moon was just yesterday. Still carrying on the energies of it. 3 days before, 3 days after in general, when in practice. Don't let it stop you though. I mean, but this is definitely the new moon. Instead of it being an emergence, it's kind of like diverging, like divergence. It's submerging, but it's also like a divergence, like moving away from a certain realm that you feel close to. I mean, that you feel like that is familiar to you, like your norm. Yeah. So it's, what is it? A divergence, or submerging, and a divergence. So it's like going within, yeah, and moving away. Yeah. Okay. So that goes for, like, I think all parties. Bottom of the deck, the Tower. That's for real. That is for real. That's for real. Okay. Anagrams. Fun anagrams. And we have A. Bringing your A game when it comes to your leadership skills and your point of view, your perspective, your perception, because it tapped me right there. First time it tapped me right there. Pointer finger, right finger. Yep. I have revere. I have brave. Cajun. Who has Cajun background here? Oh, maybe like having a little spice. I feel like Spirit's throwing in a little spice here. Okay, so we have brave. Back. I almost spelled buck. Be your own support system. It's like having like a strong spine and having the like carrying yourself with dignity and confidence. So, you know, like you don't just like, you know, have a spine, but you hold yourself in high regard, both physically and intangibly. Behaviorally, psychologically, socially, spiritually, emotionally. How far can we go with that? There's something else to it, but I just got into that. So don't ask me. What else? What else? I also have knave, Knave, which is a page. But I already put brave there, so. Funk. Maybe getting yourself out of the funk, you know. whether it's cool or like not cool. Whatever you think funk is within your like own interpretation. But what else? Ferns are definitely resilient. They've lasted variations through what do you call it? Prehistoric times. They cleanse the air. Resilient houseplants. They love it. They love it. So I have J and E left. So where does that go? Junior? Someone might be a junior here. You know, like father, like son. We might have an RJ as well. We might have somebody from New Jersey on the East Coast. We could have some JC believers. JV, somebody must have played sports back, in the day. It's junior varsity. VJ, some of you could be video jockeys or voice jockeys. Oh, somebody thinks that I have a good voice. Thank you. Somebody could be named CJ, JA, so Spanish, like ha ha ha, but it's spelled JA, a very real thing if you don't know. Yeah, I have strong NJ and JR here. AJ as well. But like two areas I could put JR or RJ or what did we say? JC? No. It was more like JR or RJ and AJ and New Jersey. That's right. So there's that's strong there. But I need to find out where to put the E. Could be ER. Like, yeah. So whatever Spirit did, like, to wake up these King of Swords in reverse, it was pretty big because I have ER here. I could put it down twice too. So it was big. Whatever it is, it's a big wake-up call. Thus, the implication for a big awakening. Oh, Spirit. Okay, fine. I'm protected. It is okay. I'm supposed to read for them. What about for us, Spirit? Can I get one for me? For us? Yes. Finally. Okay. Two other I's. MNYEVHT. Yeah, B. Okay. They, them, meth. What? I've never done that. Geez, like for reals, fine. I asked for it, fine. TV. We are being televised right now. So, oh, myth. Herb. Myth? I'm not a myth. Should I not have asked? A Vin. That's crazy. That's like the third time. That scares them. That's funny. Do not fear. This is just Scrabble with the divine. Dude, I don't even... What? Be patient. Be patient. Things are processing. Fine, I'll do myth. I don't know what's, like, myth. What is a myth? Like, it's a story that is, like, it's, a belief that is, like a spoof of reality. An old belief that has yet to be proven. Why? That's crazy. I think I'm just realizing what just happened there. Someone has been employed to fuck around with my energy. Pretend that they're friend energy. And something, this reading for them, they just didn't want to hear it. It scared them. Not my problem. That is funny. I have men too. These are odd names. I mean, cultural names. It could also mean like minimum, versus maximum. Or like a minute. I've been doing this for a good minute. And I just gave them a flavor. Oh my gosh, bite. Because it didn't just bite them in the ass. It took a piece of them. Oh shit. This is for real. That's why they're scared. So, okay. XVI, so that's 10, 15, 16. 16 is what in the major arcana? Is that the moon card? No, that's 18. 16 is 16. What is 16? 15 is a devil card. So 16 is, dude, I don't remember that by heart. The Tower. Oh! That's crazy. Oh my gosh. So this is for me, because they thought like there people like did not believe in me. It's like, oh, okay, so you know, even if they're gifted, they're like, oh, you know, she's just like an urban legend, like a myth almost. And so like they didn't really believe, you know, these people, these souls did not believe in like the divine, you know, configuring this within, you know, within my storyline and within my path. And so I like, it just took a minute and to prove them wrong. The Tower energy is like definitely see that. Should have seen it. 10. That's insane. I mean, it could be like 14 instead if you mixed, if you changed Roman numerals around, but that would be Temperance, which was in reverse, right behind, you know, Spirit as the Emperor. But primarily, I was just shown like 16. Let me show you. That is what is happening. Then we can switch it up if we want. We can switch it up if you like. Of course. Look. And then we have that. You know. That's what's happening. That's crazy. I like it. Let's put it all together here. Put it all together, and what do you get? That's what we got. Okay. That is what we've got. All right. That's it for now. Thanks for learning with me. And thank you, angels of love and light. Ancestors as well of the like, spirit guides, my cosmic families, and spirit, and this reading is officially over, so I close all portals that have been opened for such channeling. I love my space. I love my interactions intimately with the divine, my core team of the divine. So, bye for now.